Gualdo Hidalgo, Latin Heritage Foundation publisher, proudly announces the alluring new book, The Smartest Kid in the Bronx, featuring talented writers from India, Canada, the Philippines, England, Nigeria, Romania, China, USA, Germany, and other countries. The anthology, The Smartest Kid in the Bronx, contains both fictional and non-fictional stories. This includes the compelling account of friendship between two high school boys whose lives take surprising paths with dreadful destinies. It includes the naughty immigrant's experience, one people, one love, random thoughts and aspirations. It speaks of the descriptive feeling of sitting above the world with the option of being immortal, and about the grief weighing heavily on the hearts of soldiers. It recounts the ones chosen to leave our homes, the battle for relevance in life. It's about not having fear, and even more fascinating short stories. The non-fictional section comprises stories about finding culture in Barcelona, the whispers of change, the mundane condition, the million times rejections, the haves and the have-nots, how some children are lucky, and even how to get a woman. The authors produce real art that comes from the deeper intricacies of the soul of every human being. Their stories come from places geographically and culturally diversified, but each story shows a serenade of love and universal feelings, expressing the most important values, such as the constant questioning of man's relationships to life and the vicissitudes that it offers. The non-fictional section comprises stories about finding culture in Barcelona, the million-time rejections, the have and the have-nots, how some children are lucky, and even how to attract women. The author produces real art that comes from the deeper intricacies of the soul of every human being. Their stories come from places geographically and culturally diversified, but each story shows a serenade of love and universal feelings, expressing the most important values, such as the constant questioning of man's relationships to life and the vicissitudes that it offers. Reading and enjoyment of this work allows a better understanding of the world. According to Mariela Hidalgo, the editor, the release of this anthology is the best example of Latin Heritage Foundation's interest in promoting the rich values of the universal culture. Deeply linked to the changing fortunes of history, the stories express both everyday reality and the mythic roots of its inhabitants. This is without doubt the form of creative writing most rooted in the world oral tradition. The authors have earned a place in this book because they venture and penetrate the interior of the magical kingdom of literature and all the subtle ranges of feelings, motivations, and commitments that such engagement involves. The Smartest Kid in the Bronx is available at Amazon and Latin Heritage Foundation website's web store page.
The Horsemen of the Apocalypse in Latin America by Gualdo Hidalgo, Latin News Agency.
You want to tell me what this is all about?
In the beginning there was chaos, personified in the transmutation of Lenin in the essential deity of Marxism during the conflagration of the Russian Revolution of 1917. The kingdom of heaven, proclaimed by the Son of God, and the ancillary dream of paradise restored, after the expulsion promulgated by God, was replaced by a reign of terror offered to the Russian people by the sweetener propaganda of the Bolshevik Party as the ultimate realization of paradise on earth. Frantically crossing the Russian tundra, with the excruciating crunch of hooves cracking the bones and flesh of its victims, the beast of the apocalypse arrives triumphantly to Havana in January 1959. In apotheosis of cheers and clamor of revolutionary slogans, whose deafening echoes resound in streets and squares, unwary people celebrate the beginning of their extermination, persecution, and imprisonment.
Soy Andrea Navarro, Latin News Agency.